Hi, class 10. Good morning. I hope you guys are all doing fine and good. Rains have started, so I guess the monsoon will also come down. The weather is going to cool down. So great. We were there with this history part yesterday with this rise of nationalism in Europe. So we were talking about, I was giving you a background information about it, and the things which included into this rise of this nationalism was the main part is the French Revolution also, and the Ottoman Empire, the Siberian Revolution, Napoleon, everything is there, the Greek War, independence, and whatnot is there. So we cannot go into details through this on the video. It's going to take a hell of a lot of time. So, and history, the way I share it's in a very long process, so I can just give you another part of it, like that, in the sense is I am going to update notes for you. Okay, what I speak on the video will be exactly what I'm going to post it on the website in the download section, or that notes or the homework section where you get it, and so that you can be able to read and understand, and I'm going to give you question answers. I'm going to solve it also. Okay, so that's going to be a good news, so that you don't waste too much of time in writing. One shot you can learn, because you guys don't have much time. So for in that putting it that in point of view, I'm trying to solve things for you from my side as much as I can. I hope I'm some use to you, and you can use that for your future exams. I mean your final exams for class 10. So let's start. I'll just give a brief information again, like the rise of the nationalism in Europe is total about the nation state, a large number of people, mainly common descent, a common descent of language, history, inhabiting territory bounded by defined limits, and forming a society under one government is called the nation. And in that including is Frederick Sorio and his visualization. What was his visualization? What did he visualize in 1848? Frederick Sorio, he was an artist, I told you. He prepared a series of 4 prints visualizing his dream of a world made up of democratic and social republics, as he called them. The first print shows the people of Europe and America marching in a long train and offering homage to the Statue of Liberty. As they pass by it, a female figure carries a torch of enlightenment in one hand, and on the other the Charter of the Rights of Man. What are the total rights of people, or the human being, or man, or anybody. During that time, that chart was there, and still there. So the Statue of Liberty is right now in America, and on the earth lies on the earth lies the shattered remains of the symbols of absolute institutions. In Sorio's utopian vision, the people of the world are grouped as distinct nations, identified through their flags and national costumes. Okay, and point number 3 we can put it into that. Point number 4 we can say it as leading the procession are USA, Switzerland, followed by France, Germany. Following Germany are Austria Kingdom, the Austria Kingdom of Two Sicilies, Lombardy, Poland, England, Ireland, Hungary, and Russia. So from heavens above, Christ, saints, and angels gaze at that scene. The artist symbolizes fraternity among the nations of the world. So this is all about actually that's what he visualized. This is going to be the rise of the rise of this nationalism in Europe. That is his point of view, the way he put it into his paintings. And that's what we are reading. The French Revolution and the idea of the nation. So French Revolution plays a very big role during this. The growth of nationalism in France, introduction of various measures and practices created sense of collectivity, identity among people of France. So change of monarchy and establishments of republic, creation of a new assembly, rise of Napoleon and his reforms. Revolutionaries help other people of Europe to become a nation. So this is a point wise. I am going to segregate it and put it into a point wise for you as well, so that someone asks you the French Revolution and the idea of nation, what is that? Growth of nationalism in France, introduction. You have to give it point wise. You just can't write in a paragraph and you say okay, done. So if you can collectively arrange it properly and write it, that person who's going to see your papers is going to give you marks. That this kid knows, or this guy knows that how to write. So you must have that system also. So the point one of French Revolution idea of the nation is growth of nationalism in France, introduction of various measures, practices created sense of collective identity among the people of France, change of monarchy and establishments of the republic, creation of a new assembly, rise of Napoleon and his reforms, revolutionaries help other people of Europe to become a nation. So 4 points. And above this, before this, I said Frederick Sorio also has round about 5 points. So I'll put it point wise for you and give it to you so that when you write and learn, you can learn it step by step. Like this is just a basic information and notes which I'll type it and put it for you as well. So don't worry, I have typed it out already here and I'm writing it and I'm reading it from there for you. Okay. So now the making of nationalism in Europe. I'm just giving you the notes like this because Datta ma'am must have already gone ahead with you with this chapter, so I thought of just giving you because she must have not given you any PDFs or whatever. She might have also, I don't know, but as far as my concern, so as I'm being given the responsibility, so I want to share these things with you. The making of nationalism in Europe, point number one, can be German, Italy, Switzerland were divided into kingdom, duchies and cantons. These divisions were having autonomous rulers, using of different languages, rise of the middle class, industrialization in England, emergency of working class and liberalism came into it, new conversation after 1850 and preservation of traditional institutions also came in. After the defeat of Napoleon, the European government follows the spirit of conservatism. Conservative regimes where autocratic revolutionaries at that time fought for liberty and freedom. Example, Mazzini's Young Italy and Young Europe. So Mazzini is actually, his full name is Giuseppe Mazzini. It's pronounced as Giuseppe Mazzini, and he's from Italy, Italian. So it's an Italian name, Young Italy and Young Europe. So unification of Italy, how it happened was basically, I have told you earlier also, I have not told you earlier, but in my other part of the notes it was there when I was giving you a background of the intellectuals and the dynasty, Napoleon Wars, Regentism, everything was coming there, but Giuseppe Mazzini comes into a part where the struggle of independence comes into, like 1804 was the Siberian Revolution and the first revolt in the Ottoman Empire, then the the Belgium Revolution 1830-31, and then we have Mazzini coming into 1848 revolutions broke out across Europe, sparked by severe famine and economic crisis and mounting popular demand for political change. In Italy, Giuseppe Mazzini used the opportunity to encourage a war mission. Okay, Giuseppe Mazzini was an Italian politician, journalist, activist for the unification of Italy and spearhead of the Italian revolutionary movement. He was the top boss of it. His efforts helped bring about the independent and the unified Italy in place of the several separate states, many dominated by foreign powers that existed during that time. So he fought for that opportunity to encourage a war mission. People destined to achieve great things from this welfare of humanity must one day or other be constituted a nation. In Hungary it was Laos Kossuth, and then it was Australian rule. The Australian Empire came in. Transylvania, Avram Iancu led successful revolts in 1846. 1848 crisis had given nationalism its first public ring or public airing in the sense, and in 30 years that followed, no fewer than 7 new national states were created in Europe. This was partly the result of recognition of a conservative forces that the old order could not continue in its existing form. So conservative reformers such as Cavour and Bismarck made common cause with liberal political modernizers to create the consensus for the creation of the conservative national states, Italy and Germany. Okay, then we have 1867, we have the Habsburg monarchy, and I can keep on talking and telling you about all this, but as Mazzini's, Giuseppe Mazzini's information came up, so I wanted to tell you that. So this is all about it. So when the unification of Italy came in, Giuseppe Mazzini played an important role in the unification of Italy. He formed a secret society called the Young Italy in Marseilles to spread his goals. He believed Italy could not continue to be a patchwork of small states, and he had to be forged into a single unified republic. During 1830s, Mazzini sought to put together a coherent program for a unitary Italian republic. An uprising in 1831 and 1848 had failed. The mantle now fell upon Sardinia Piedmont under its ruler Emmanuel II to unify Italy. Okay, so this is how it is happened, this is how it went through. I'll come back in the next video. So I have to have this timing. So just hold on, I'll come back. See you soon.